And then I'd like to introduce for some closing remarks NASA's Dr. Thomas Zurbuchen. I'm so sorry.
Sometimes I wish I had a different name too. Because everybody calls me Dr. Z, so that's the shortcut for others. Look, I'm just so excited to be here, and all I can conclude sitting here, I was right. What I mean with that, of course, I sat there in November actually, of 2016, and I looked at these 5 missions that were options to fly into space. All of them are amazing missions. Each one of them had amazing science that was being proposed. And there was this one mission that seemed absolutely crazy. First of all, the principal investigator was way taller than me and bigger, and it was really clear that he was passionate about this like nobody else. The second thing was this crazy orbit that was just explained to you. That orbit, I mean, frankly, I started sitting down and thinking about it. I asked some people, it's like once in a many decade type of orbits, hitting all these asteroids at once. And frankly, what I knew is that actually the science community, international science community, had prioritized that science and said we should invest $1.5 to $2 billion on it. And I'm like, we can save money by doing this. And of course, the question was, how is that team going to behave? So the one thing that many people don't tell you about, and you got immediately from this, when it comes to space science, when it comes to real exploration, and by the way, when it comes to doing great things, whether it's in research or elsewhere on Earth, the unit that gets the success is a team, not an individual. And every once in a while, there are people there who are leaders, and we should celebrate. But the reason they're leaders, and the great leaders, are the ones that recognize that all their power, all their good comes from bringing together a team. And I couldn't be more proud of the team that is here. And I want to really invite you to join me and just congratulate that team for bringing us here. The team of the spacecraft, the team of the rocket, and the team of the whole organization that enabled it all. Congratulations, team. When we look at the sky at night, the way we look at it, we get a sense of calm. I sit there under the night sky often. Frankly, when I grew up in the Swiss mountain, that's where my accent and name is from. When I grew up there, the sky was really a place where I got a lot of excitement and, frankly, just dreams from. Imagine these stars. What do they signify? They're planets. Every once in a while you see the space station coming by. What an amazing thing, the calm that comes from that. What we sometimes miss, when we look at the universe and we look at our history, it is not a history of calm. It is a history of violent explosions and phases in our history of the solar system, the likes of which we still don't understand. And Kathy just showed us that chart, how these planets that are there, and we learned in school where they are, well, they are not always there. They move around, and they made the whole thing unstable. And what happened, though, and thank God, when Jupiter formed something like 4 billion years ago, these objects that were there, that actually were at the basis of forming the solar system, they got put, if you want, into the refrigerator. They got put in points, as they're called, and you can sit down for 2 hours and explain why they're that. Doesn't matter. They're there and they cannot escape. And we've never seen them. We have never observed them. And this mission is going to tell us that story, because the story of those rocks is our story. Because with the way the formation of the solar system occurred, with that violent, these interactions, these collisions, we heard about one of them being a product of collisions. That's also what shaped our Earth, shaped our moon. And ultimately, with the composition that is there, shaped the molecules that make up life billions of years later. For me, that's amazing. So we're starting a decade of asteroids with this, and frankly, we're launching, and we can't wait to see these flybys. It's going to be exercise in patience to wait for the first flyby in 25, and everybody's going to be really excited with the cameras pointing, and then in 27 and all this. But you don't have to wait so long, because in 23, in September, we're going to bring back a sample from another asteroid, one that focused on a different phase of our story, one that's much closer to the Earth, and frankly, one that at this moment in time is crossing the Earth closest, almost closest than any of the asteroids we know. Those samples that we picked up in the middle of COVID, because of another amazing team, is going to come back and going to go in our labs, and we're going to analyze them here. Well, next year, in September, we're going to launch another mission to an asteroid called Psyche, going to an object called, guess what, Psyche, which many people believe is a failed planet with an iron core at the center, and it stopped its evolution. So if that's correct, looking at that object will tell us what's many hundred miles that way, on the center of our Earth, and that's what we're going to do. So we're learning about these story, our own story with these asteroids. I want to tell you, there's more to our story than just the solar system. And I want to tell you this, just yesterday, I did a town hall with the team, and the vast majority of the team is sitting in Kourou. It's French Guiana. If you go straight down to South America, and there's a telescope there, the biggest telescope we've ever built. It's called the Webb telescope, and it was just delivered there, and they're integrating into a spacecraft to launch in mid-December, and it's going to tell us a story of 13.5 billion years ago of us. Namely, something like 200 to 300 million years after the Big Bang. We've never seen the first galaxies in the universe. We're going to see them with that telescope. Another part of the story. In the meantime, we're having a rover on Mars, and we landed it also during COVID. It has the name Perseverance. Kind of the funny part is, besides selecting missions, I'm also in charge of names, and I chose that name Perseverance. You can ask me sometime why. I grew up, as a first in my family to graduate college, and if you're in that kind of environment, you understand the word perseverance. And I really resonated with that kid who proposed that, and many people did not like that name until COVID occurred, and everybody said, what an amazing name. Well, perseverance always matters, and especially when there's a challenge from the outside. But why are we there? Because we want to bring samples back to look whether something like 3 billion years ago, life arose on Mars, and whether there's fossils there from that. So when we look at our program, looking out, we look at our story, we look at learning about the most beautiful universe. We look at every time, we know it's just incredibly important to us. It's more than just stats. It's full of stories, and ultimately our story. From space, we also look the other way. And we're running an amazing Earth science program because we're building our story right now. And we want to observe from space how we're living on this planet, how the most beautiful planet we've ever seen, how it works. And the same tools that we're that we're developing to analyze these worlds are the tools that also help us, safeguard our own planet, make it better, and so forth. So in that sense, yes, it is about learning our story, but it's about many teams helping us understand nature better, but equally importantly, and perhaps more importantly, show us what's possible when we come together, all of us, different people, not same people, different people come together with a huge goal, and we can make those goals a reality. On the rocket, there's an inscription called Lucy Strong. Lucy Strong was something that Team On had put up there, a battle cry that they had for themselves during COVID, achieving this miraculous goal of getting here on time. Frankly, many people bet against them. Oh, you never bet against a great team. You never do that. You will always lose. Almost always. And in this case, Lucy Strong, for me, has deep meaning and a deep inspiration. I hope when you see that rocket, that amazing rocket go up into the sky, you think about that. The team that brought it together, the team that lived Lucy Strong. Thank you so much.